Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Feature Friday. I'm your host, Sam Slays, and this is episode, I believe, 8 of Feature Friday, and we have a special guest here with us. But for those of you that don't know, Feature Friday is our one-on-one segment here on YouTube where we kind of dive into a one-on-one interview with an underground independent artist or creative, and we kind of dive into their current career, their roots, and really kind of examine who they are as an artist and as a person, right? So this week we have a very, very special guest, like I said, and we're going to introduce them here right now. So here I have with me the homie Jordan. Welcome to Feature Friday, my friend. How you doing? What's cracking?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Glad to be back here, I guess. No, I'm good. Yeah, it's a good day today.
Yeah, we were actually just talking before we started this interview, and you just landed a new job, so congratulations, my friend.
Yes, sir. All good things. Albums out there. All good changes, right?
Yep. So, for those of you that don't know, like I said, Jordan is a multi-genre talented producer, artist, designer, engineer, all the above. But we haven't actually done an interview in over, I think, 2 years now at this point. So this will be a pretty crazy sit down for us. But let's start with the basics, because, like I said, maybe there's some people watching this that don't know who you are. So for those that don't know, who are you? Where are you from? And what do you do?
Yes, sir. No, I guess go by Jordan. Just a shortening of my name with JRDN exclamation point. Uh, been making music since about 2018 now, doing anything I can really get my head around style wise, and that goes from doing rock stuff with my boy Michael Monego and Dead Lighters, or doing solo stuff when it's more hip hop based and R&B based. So yeah, I've been doing just kind of whatever I can get figure out genre wise. I've even DJ'd a little bit here and there, and yeah, it's kind of for us where we are today, where I'm kind of branching out in the solo game and doing more stuff recording myself and hoping to push the producer envelope as well.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of that we're gonna dive into today. So very well said. But let's start with the basics. What was it like growing up for you in Ohio, and tell us a little bit about that, and what were some of your early experiences like?
Yeah. No, I so we started out in St. Louis when I was a kid, but then we moved to Ohio when I was really young, like 7 years old. So most of my life I've been here. Now I'm 25. So um, a lot of it in Ohio is there's a lot of everybody. Like we
Mm,
meet all kinds of different people, especially in Columbus. And I think that throws your experiences, like even just the different jobs I've worked all over the place and stuff. I feel like I've met and experienced every type of person in Columbus. So um, it's been unique, and then also Columbus in general has a really cool music scene that I've kind of grown to learn more about recently. I've been kind of closed to myself a lot, but I know there's tons of artists that I've been inspired by since I was in high school, before I even made music in Columbus,
mm.
that have been doing it here since before I even knew what FL really was, right? So we've definitely got something here to be inspired by that I think is a live and happening scene.
Yeah, yeah, wow. And you know what's funny is like I feel like a lot of people don't know that about, Ohio and even more specifically like Columbus. Like that scene is very, very active and very, very popular. So yeah, I definitely want to dive into more of that here in a second. But tell us a little bit about your early music experiences growing up. What are some of the artists that you remember listening to first, or was it like movie soundtracks, or was it stuff your parents played in the car? Tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely get a lot of influence from what my parents listened to and showed me.
Mm,
Like I can remember a few different specific scenarios. Like my dad used to have CDs, and in our little computer room we had like a Nas CD, and I remember him like telling me what it was and stuff like that. And he had like Usher CDs, and we listened to Michael Jackson, and my mom listened to like stuff like Miguel and some rock stuff too. And
mm.
so we have a lot of different flavors, and I think that kind of definitely influenced a lot of the things I make now. Sometimes I'll go back to just those tracks that I kind of glanced over there, um, just for inspiration, because that's definitely my roots of where I started learning music, um, just as a fan. But
Mm.
of course, I didn't start till much later, with the whole SLM stuff, secret laptop music, trying to slowly slide my way into the music scene unseen.
Right. Yeah. No, for sure. For sure. It's funny because I feel like almost every like musician or producer or anybody really kind of always goes back to those classics that you like first listened to when you started growing up for like inspiration. So you're definitely not alone in that one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Um, but yeah, so you had all these early influences, but you weren't making music early on. When did you initially start creating for yourself, and how old were you at the time?
Yeah, so I'd say about 18. It was when Mike and I of Deadlighters, we both went to the same school. We went to the same high school, but then went to the same college. And we were already used to, making jokes. We'd make little short films in the past, like things together, create things together. And
Yeah.
I think that's where it really kicked off. We're like, well, now we have laptops. Like these things can do anything. Like
Hmm.
we can get a whole music program on here. So I think that's kind of where I was like 18 and just feeling that freedom of like I can do this if I want to. But before that, my only music experience was 2 years in strings playing the viola in elementary school, so it wasn't
Wow.
anything like impressive. I mean, I was okay, I'm sure, but
Yeah.
um, but it wasn't like I was a young producer or whatever like that.
Right.
But yeah, so about 18 when I really kicked it off.
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. So you're 18, you're discovering creativity in general, right? Like you said, not just music, short films, and just doing all types of stuff. Um, so initially, when did you first start releasing music? When did you actually start publishing music of your own, whether it be instrumentals or vocals?
Yeah, it was definitely instrumentals first.
Yeah.
I was going back then by like the full written out secret laptop music. And it was pretty much just me being like, this is music from my laptop that I'm making, and I don't know how to present it, and I don't feel like it's a whole album or anything yet. So this is where how I'm going to present it
Yeah.
for a little while. So I think I still have some of that up there on SoundCloud on a different page.
Mm,
But yeah, it was just like instrumentals with, movie clips that I liked. So just kind of figuring out what I liked about what I was listening to at the time, and turning that into figuring out how is that even made? What does that look like on a screen, kind of thing,
right.
and going from there.
Now, before we continue, you mentioned
Mhm.
a phrase, secret laptop music, and I think that's where we kind of got to dive into the journey of your name, which I think this
Yes.
lore runs pretty deep. So, you first started off as SLM, the acronym meaning secret laptop music, and where did it go from there? Because you're 18, 19, you're younger. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. No, once I started realize, I'm not sure how much long after that I wanted to make music. I tried a couple different things. I had a page that was like some form of my name at the time, but I don't even remember. Like it wasn't a very long lasting page.
Hmm.
But then we moved into the variations of SLM, where it was first one was sounds like madness, and I was kind of like going through the craziness of stress in college and being like this just like is what madness sounds like right here. And then it went to still learning myself, and I have one sounds like meditation,
Hmm.
um, a little more calm project. So it kind of went with the projects that came out too. I
Yeah.
thought it was fun to morph it and keep it as just the letters as my name, but then the meaning changing with the era, kind of. So that's where that all kind of dominoed for about 3 or 4 years as SLM. And there's still some of that stuff out there, of course, but yeah, a lot of that was just not knowing what was next and not knowing what I wanted to look like when I presented the music. So hiding behind that like character almost in a
Mm.
way.
Yeah, yeah, because it was always having this like variable, you know.
Right.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. So obviously you ended up landing on your current Jordan now, but back then
Yep.
it was the SLM kind of era for sure,
Yep.
for
Yeah.
sure.
No, and I mean, one thing I'll say is on the album, there's tons of SLMs dropped in there. I mean, if you got out a piece of paper and tried to catch all the SLMs, I'd be curious to know
Yeah, yeah,
how many
right.
times I inter or use that phrase or those letters in a row on the
Yeah.
current album, because it's still very much part of how I see the vision for the art, but
Hmm.
it's not a box I like to keep myself in name wise anymore, because that was hard to keep coming up with them.
Yeah, right. And definitely got stressful at times trying to organize everything, and you're like, wait, what did this mean? And you start going back and
Yeah.
forth with it, and you're like, oh my god, you know what I mean? But yeah, yeah, yeah. So continuing on, you're about 18 or 19, and you're doing just strictly production at this time. So when did you actually start diving into vocals and recording your own voice?
Yeah, at the time it was mostly, the group of us. So the MMCJ guys really,
Hmm.
my other roommates at the time, friends at the in college that we had met, um, we all just kind of felt that freedom. And I think when we had laptops, we'd sit there and just kind of, instead of doing homework, let's sit here and you work on a beat, I'll work on a beat. Eventually, we'll be rapping on one of them.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of where our early songs are just a lot of that, like a lot of dorm room and college house things.
Right.
And then it kind of evolved from, well, I've always written things, but how do I turn these into songs for me? And I think I found my way through that as the next couple years went on, um, just writing and writing and writing and trying to write songs better that were just me, where I have to fill not just one verse, but like the
The hook
chorus,
and yeah, right,
the
right.
the whole deal. So that was a new evolution of trying to like not just be one verse on a song with three people sometimes. But it is always fun thinking back of how we started picking up the mic was just um, really those fun songs where I don't remember what any of them are about, honestly, right now off the top of my head, but I remember what it was like recording them.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Like the memories there, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. So that's such a fun journey, man. Those early years are like super, super special. So you mentioned make more creative junk, and that's also a crucial part of the SLM Jordan early come up lore. So let's talk about MMCJ before we continue on.
Yeah.
So what exactly is make more creative junk, and what was it back then as well?
Yeah, no, I think um, it finally came to be the name that it was our senior year of college, but I think it existed as, what we were doing,
Hmm.
at least leading up to that, where we would just make things all together. We would not really be focused on what it was going to do for other people. It was more of just
Personal.
the excitement of making it and figuring out how or what we could do really because we were so new to it and kind of learning parallel to each other all using different programs of course because we're just funny like that to where why would we
Yeah,
try to learn the same thing
of
but
course. Yeah, of course.
it's just kind of funny like we're all just learning our different programs. Mike uses Ableton, our buddy Camden uses uh, now Logic I believe, but he always used GarageBand on his Apple laptop, so it was always just trying to figure out, well, how did you do that over there? How can I do that? How can I make my song bounce?
Mm.
And that, I mean, and it wasn't only music, of course. Mike, you can see his Instagram, amazing artist, visual artist.
Big shout out,
So it was
Michael.
always about not just music, just making creative things in general.
Yeah, being a true
And I
artist.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's where we finally came across maybe senior year. We're like, well, if we're gonna keep doing this, what do we call this? So,
Mm.
and that's where you'll see the MMCJ is the four of us, our names. We had a whiteboard trying to come up with a name ideas. One of the many ideas was what could these letters stand for? And eventually it led to this make more creative junk name um, that we're very happy about, of course, now. Uh, and yeah, that's at least the origins of it, I guess, in a quick wrap. But what it is now is just kind of a brand and a way for us to keep putting out our stuff
Yeah,
the
right.
way we like to do it. So
Right. Definitely. Definitely. And I think what's so admiring about that come up too is it's like so organic and it's so like it's so just natural. And then what it is now is almost not really sticking to one type of thing. Now it's more so a collective, but it's also an independent label, it's also a group, it's also many of those things, you know what I mean? So that's what's good about not really like holding down an anchor onto one type of kind of theme there, you know?
right, yeah, and I think the more we've evolved, what it does is cool. We have a website now, makemorecreativejunk.com. We've experimented with merch. We've experimented with different things to put on our YouTube page. Um, and then when it comes to socials, just as an artist, it's nice to have a landing page where everything might go if it's all of us working on it.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to be like, well, it's not your song, it's our song kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, so that's a fun part of it too, to keep the label like us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something that's so rare these days. You know what I mean? Like it's so fucking rare these days to find something that organic and that natural that just kind of works at its own pace, you know, and it has like a true meaning behind it, you know, that's just like for the
Yeah,
art. You know, art first and then everything else after, you know? So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
well
absolutely.
said. Definitely well said. So, you're continuing on your college journey. I assume actually for those curious, what did you go to college for?
Sport management. So I studied. My dad's always he's worked in sports my whole life, and I've been surrounded by sports my whole life. So a lot of my job experience has been working in TV and sports, and
Yeah.
working at events in sports, and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Just kind of chasing the event world, and I think that kind of connects to the music thing because I growing up, I played sports, so it was there was a build up. You practice, you prepared for something, your craft to game day. And now what I've learned is I get that same feeling, that game day feeling when it's album drop day or it's
Mm-hmm.
show day or whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is. It's
for sure, for
that
sure.
like tingle of something's about to happen,
Very
and I
similar.
have some control over it because I prepared. So I think that's a very cool process that's transitioned in my life to now I'm looking for how I can use those skills down the road in this whole music world, of course.
Yeah, right, right. I think that's great. And you know, having like a couple of things that you're passionate about in life, sometimes they always like cross pollinate. Like we've always, you know, spoke about on the side is just like building those two types of hobbies and passions really always is just beneficial, you know, and especially something like sports and music, like it's a no-brainer. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And it's connected so many different times in my life. I mean, I can think of
Absolutely.
some of the songs I used to listen to on the way to game. Like
Yep.
I can connect it so many different ways. And that's really fun too. Just feeling like it doesn't have to be one or the other, at least for
Yeah.
now.
Exactly. No,
Yeah,
no, 100%. 100%. Completely agree. And
yeah,
it's, you know, it's what's more interesting about you as well because it's not just like 24/7 music, you know, you have other passions that kind of like fuel the music grind as well, you know.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, it's been very helpful to keep the balance. Trying to keep the balance.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, uh picking back up post college, when did you actually start to take music a little bit more seriously and you knew that it was something that you wanted to pursue as a full-time career? Like what was that
Yeah.
kind of flicking moment for you?
Yeah, so towards the end, I had started dropping things like right at the end of school. I found my way to DSPs and trying to actually figure out like
Mm,
I'm not just gonna do SoundCloud now. I know that, um, but I still think I wasn't super confident in what my skills were at the time. So it was
yeah.
like now that I was done with school, it was I'm in the job world, but also how can I make this my job? What would that take? And I think um, a lot of it was watching other people watching. One of the things I'm obsessed with is like a J. Cole documentary where he's just in the studio and you're watching the practice and the preciseness of it. Or there's plenty of other artists I'm blanking on that do that same type of thing where they let you into the process, and I think that helps me more than any real tutorial video of how you should have your EQ.
Right.
It's that real understanding that they just put in the hours, and then the path kind of leads you there. So I think after school, more time at home, uh, just kind of in my room, like in my space a lot. So I had a lot of chances to stay up way too late and chase that mix that I could not figure out. And things that maybe school was slowing down because I had to be a little bit responsible and get to bed,
Yeah, of
um,
course, right.
and do things that I was supposed to do sometimes, right? But now it's like if you want this, how about do you? One of the things I always think of, it's another J. Cole thing, but he always says if you were to stop at some point, are you okay with not having done this and that? Are you okay with not having put this much effort in? And I think that's a big part of the shift at some point where it's like, no, I think I'd like to try
Mm,
that before I I hang it up.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's that a little bit.
I love that, man. I love that. I think for everybody it's different, but I feel like you explained it pretty well for most people, right? I mean, even watching documentaries or behind the scenes stuff, or even just the other day, I was watching like old like 808 Mafia vlogs with like TM88 and Southside, and they were all just cooking in the studio, and it's certain stuff like that that makes you realize that it's like you either really love this or you don't, you know, and obviously
Yeah,
you really love this, so you kind of like committed fully after that, while also kind of like pursuing, more real life stuff on the side. But the main number one was music, so
Yeah, yeah,
fantastic. I love that. So that kind of takes us much more to almost present day, right? I mean, 2023, 2024, twenty twenty
yeah,
five. So, if we're talking about as of recently, you had just dropped a brand new 19 track project titled Not Now I'm
yes,
Busy. And I think that's a big talking point here because that's a hefty project, my friend, and I feel like a lot of people are receiving it well, but also at the same time, we need to kind of expand on it a little bit more for those who don't know. So tell us a little bit about this
yeah,
massive project that you just dropped, and what's the lore behind it?
yeah. Now there, it feels like there's so much. Every time I listen to it, I feel like I'm rediscovering things almost that I put there. That as the bigger picture came together, I let myself almost forget. Like that's a piece of the puzzle too.
Mm,
So with Not Now I'm Busy, it's originally it was kind of a two-piece project, but they happened back to back in such closeness that it eventually started to feel like I just never stopped working on the same project, rather than stopped and started a whole new thing. And it sort of became an A side B side thing where on the first nine tracks you're hearing what I consider "Are You Happy" as a separate album, and that's kind of connected to my little tattoo there, the AYH question mark, that I've always just wanted to do a project with that kind of focus of
yeah.
capturing control of your life in general. Like, are you happy with that same question I was just asking? Are you happy with this if you left it how it is? So that's where you're hearing in the first nine tracks is that turn of that emotion, kind of trying to take control, getting a little maybe out of control in some ways of trying to do that. So I think that's where you're really hearing in the first half is a little more intensity, a little more grit than I'm even normally doing on tracks, and that's something I've been working on not only in the music but like in life and just trying to.
Mm,
Are you happy right now? Like, let's do that.
yeah.
Um, there's a song called "Power" that I wrote after just an awful day at work. I came home and wrote that, trying to take a little power back, and it was just thinking of like quitting. Like, I'm trying to take the power in life back by getting the hell out of here, um, and just kind of going through what happened in that day in that verse. So there's a lot of stuff like that in the first half. Now the second half was always called "Not Now I'm Busy,"
Hmm.
um, but that one's a little more of okay. Now you've discovered maybe you're not happy with how it is, now lock in, and it's the "Not now I'm busy, I'm focused, I'm hyper focused even on this momentum," which is a track on there, on this, you know I think I get it now, like all these feelings that are coming from focusing and
Mm,
locking in on a target. So this album it's got some cinematic flavor to it when it comes to the production, but um I think that's very connected to that two act kind of scene that I'm kind of laying out there.
yeah.
So yeah, that's now I'm busy. I think it's all of the verses I've wanted to do over the past 2 years in some new form that they deserve to be done in. Just they've existed before maybe, but not this way. So this
Yeah.
is the album for probably the last 2 years of work. Yeah.
Which is crazy, which is really, really crazy. I mean, not only is it a hefty album, but it's also a very meaningful album, because even what you just explained was pretty deep. I mean, the A side, B side, and kind of like
Yeah.
relation to life and, your art and, the aspect of not now I'm busy. I mean, that's a very important theme there, I would definitely say. I would definitely say. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of artists will definitely relate to that for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I've mentioned to you in passing before that uh, there was a point where I thought about making it a self-titled type of thing, and I think that at
Mm,
least knowing that coming into listening to it might be something for certain listeners that might
totally.
change the way you think of it, right? Like
Totally.
knowing that I'm trying to say like this is me kind of thing. And I think one of the things I love about not doing the self-titled is Mike Monego absolutely killed the art, so it still has that my face on it, this is me feel, without having to be just called my name or whatever it was going to be. Um, in a more self-titled
Yeah.
kind of lane.
Yeah, totally. I mean, more of like a self-titled aesthetic rather than like a whole self-titled album, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So that portrait, I mean, it came out just right when I got it. I was like, I know where the rest of this needs to go, kind of thing.
absolutely.
Um, so
Absolutely.
yeah, that's always a help when you've got the MMCJ team around. I mean, we do Dead Lighter stuff together, um, and it always is seamless, and the ideas come together. So
Yeah,
um,
no, I
yeah,
agree. I agree. You know, while we're still talking about the project here, let's take a little pit stop and talk about the homie Michael. So tell us a little bit about Michael and what he brings to the table, and
yeah,
let's talk about Deadlighters for a second as well, because Deadlighters are also featured on the project anyway. So let's dive into Mike
yes,
and you know, I'll talk about
yes.
his lore there for you.
Absolutely. That is my dude. We've been friends since, I mean, we were kids at this point with how old we are. We're both 25, and um it's crazy. Like, I don't work with a lot of people, but for one reason is how much I've gotten used to and comfortable with how well we work together.
Yeah.
Um it's it's really nice having somebody who you feel like anytime you sit down, something productive is going to happen. Whether it's a new song completely or just a few conversations that lead you in a direction.
Yep.
Um, so, I mean, he brings, an A plus eye for aesthetic, first of all, just when it comes to the art, but
I agree.
also the music side. I mean, he plays guitar so well that I've been trying a little bit, and I missed it so much. We're working on a new Deadlighters project, basically, is what I'm getting at. I've missed it so much that I'm like ready to put my guitar down and just hear his on our stuff for a while. Um, and yeah, so I mean, that's the A1 collaborator you're always looking for.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, Mike's done
Kind of
so many
first up.
pieces for you know, you, including this project, but so many other singles and other projects, and Mike has just been there the whole time, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's I mean, we were roommates, direct roommates for 2 years in college, and then lived in the same house the other 2 years. So we haven't, I mean, living in our current situations is as far apart as we've been, right? For a while because of college. So no,
Right.
it's always been great to have, just somebody to bounce things off of, right? Creatively that you trust. I think um,
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
lot of people get that. That's very hard to find sometimes for some people, but it makes it Dead Lighter stuff. I mean, so unique, especially because our different tastes. I mean, we don't like listen to exactly the same things, some of the same things, but exactly the same things now. So we get so much influence from both sides on just the flavors of our projects. Um, and this next one will be an instrumental project that is going to push that even further. So yeah, it'll be something to be seen even as we keep developing this, bond that we have already, and just keep creating, making more creative junk as we always like to bring it back to.
A pun
Yeah.
definitely intended there for sure.
Yes.
But
Yes.
huge shout out to Michael, man. And actually, you mentioned Dead Lighters there, so let's talk about Dead Lighters because Dead Lighters is one of the only two features on the project. So, what exactly
Yes.
is Dead Lighters? And for those who don't know, kind of explain how that came to be alive.
Yeah. So we're really just a producer duo in a way,
Hmm.
with the way most of our stuff comes together. I mean, you could say band, of course,
Hmm.
as it doesn't matter to us, like either way.
Yeah,
But
50-50.
when it comes to like playing things like in a band, we more have done it more like a producer duo where we're sitting down at the computer, we're working the songs from top to bottom together rather than trying to play them live. We're molding songs a little bit differently than I guess I would think a bigger band might um,
Yeah.
be attacking things. But yeah, no, we've done everything from producing some hip hop stuff for me, for other people, to doing our kind of experimental instrumental rock stuff, from Deadlighters projects with vocals on them, like Ruckus, our album, or Longwing, our album. So kind of a really flexible producer duo is how I would kind of describe us, just with our influences and the things that we've put out as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, very versatile, right? For one, I mean, you guys I've seen personally do almost every genre like known to man. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
even some like twangy country stuff to some actual raw boom bap hip hop stuff to some like
yeah,
very alternative rock stuff. Like we've seen it all. So I feel like that's what's really cool about your creative environment and your ecosystem is because you have Make More Creative Junk, and then you have Jordan, and then you have Dead Lighters over here. So that's what's really really cool about it. And
yeah,
that's going to be something I'm going to look forward to for sure. Is definitely some new Deadlighters. But let's reel back into the album though. So
yeah. Bring it
back
back.
to
Yeah.
Not Now I'm Busy.
Hmm.
What is your favorite song on the project if you had to pick one?
Yeah, no, I right before we jumped on, I pulled up the track list because I was like, let me do a quick scan
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it changes. It truly does.
Yeah.
So often. I mean, I think overall my favorite leading up to the project was the same for a while, and then ever since it's been out, it's been almost a daily change out.
Mm.
Um, but I think one song I want to highlight that I think even if project gets tons of views, I think will always be kind of a hidden gem in it. Um, no matter just how things work out, I think Tunnel Vision is just some of my best production. I don't know what it is about that beat. I just love it. Like I hear it in the pocket I find in there when I write is something I don't normally do. So I think for me it just kind of sticks out as damn, I'm like glad that one exists because this project might have been missing something I didn't even know I could make almost, if that makes sense. Um if it didn't come to be. So it's just one of those that surprised me. um and some of the other ones are more something I would expect out of myself in a way. Even
Yeah.
if it is new, it's more my lane anyways. This beat just kind of had a different bounce and pocket that made me like really proud to add it to the track list, of course.
I like that choice a lot. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Yeah.
out of 19, it's pretty hard to pick, so I don't blame you for switching it like
Yeah.
every other day. It's
Yep.
like, how could you not? But yeah,
Whatever
no,
comes on the
it's
shuffle first. Yeah.
yeah, right. Or you're in like a different mood or something like that, or I don't know, who knows? But 19 though,
Yeah.
19 is pretty crazy. So that makes me kind of lead into my next question. So the follow up, you've done a really good job following up this project. You have a ton of music videos out. You've been doing a little bit of media promo. You've been doing a lot of social media promo. Um, Tell us a little bit about your post release and what music videos are out right now and what's
Yeah.
coming following Not Now I'm Busy.
Yeah, we've got a few music videos out right now. I know if plus when is out there. We've
Mm-hmm.
got a couple other ones on the YouTube channel. Of course, rolling forward, I'm excited because we've got plans to drop one, of course, over on Music Mondays
Yep.
and do some variations of things that would add a little spice, I think, to the post drop. We'll do one over on the Make More Creative Junk channel.
Yep.
That one will be produced by Deadlight. One of the ones produced by Deadlighters. So just kind of leaning into the things that I've been happy with about my music in general. I mean, I've loved sharing stuff every week as much as I can over on the podcast. So it feels only right for something to live over there, right?
Yeah, of course,
And then
100%.
on the Make More Creative Junk page, we like to, when we make something together, let it live over there on that channel and represent what we do, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing more videos. Well, obviously, we'll be planning for new music here soon. I've got a plan for a track that'll kind of reset things in a way, I think, not necessarily like narratively or anything like that the project left open. I think it'll just be a nice song that will lead us into the end of the year. And with that, I hope to also follow this with more collabs,
Mm,
doing all kinds of things that I wouldn't have done while I was so focused on this album, while I was in
mm.
the mode of not now, I'm busy.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, so while I was kind of locked in, I think I tuned out a lot of that. So I think along with all
Yep.
these extra drops and videos, we will be branching out a little bit.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I mean, 19 tracks, you definitely want to let that sit and kind of let people really marinate on that and following the music videos and the full post release. One of my last questions for you about the album is if you could give everybody one reason to go and listen to this project right now, what would it be?
I think one of the things that I like about a great rap album in this flavor, where you're getting the rapper's thoughts, the rapper's feelings more than just what's going on, I guess, in their life, where it's a lot of introspective stuff. I think there's always going to be lines that make you think more. And whether I'm intentionally trying to describe your situation or not, or whatever it is, whether our
Hmm.
lives align at all or not, I think there's always going to be something you can take away that's like, with this theme of like, are you happy? Okay, now lock in, not and get busy doing what you do. So if anything, I'd say if you're a creative, if you're somebody that's trying to do anything, shoot, I got the job I was manifesting in this album today. There's moments that you can gain out of this album, whether you love the whole thing or not, right? So I think there's a lot of cool things writing wise that um, stand out more than maybe the music itself.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Very well said. Absolutely. I mean, I agree with that. And also, I feel like there's something on this project for any type of listener, no matter what type of, writing or sounds you kind of enjoy. I feel like it'd
Yeah.
be pretty hard not to find at least one track out of the 19 that you really resonate with. And I feel like
Right.
that's why it's really important too, is because it's not easy to make an album like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
So
I think I've been happy with the shuffle ability, right? the
yes, yes, totally.
Yeah.
Totally, 100%. Because
Yeah.
I think the project clocks in at what? It's like over an hour, right? It's like a minute and five or
Uh
something like that.
I think it's right under.
Yes, like
I could be
59
wrong.
minutes
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a really nice listen, you know? That's a
Yep.
solid listen. So,
Yeah.
um
Got something to do for about an hour, lock in here. Yeah.
absolutely well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah, no. So if you're listening to this and you're watching this back later, definitely go check out the project. Obviously, that'll be linked in the description, so definitely go check that out and
Yes.
give it a little listen. But
Yeah.
continuing on, let's see.
Hmm.
So, kind of heading back to the 19 track idea, tell us a little bit about how long it takes you to fully write, record, and publish a song. Like how long does that usually take you? What is your creative process like? Is it different? Is it kind of normal? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. No, I think for this album, I think it's evolved, but for this album, I think it's the best example of the couple different ways I do things.
Yeah.
So I would say, like a song like Power, like I said, I came home from work. I think I made that beat the day before, so it was fresh. And so I didn't really have anything written to it, but I knew, like, in my head, like, that's fresh. I'm feeling that beat right now. So I just kind of threw it on, start writing. That's probably one of the quickest ones on the project, where I think it's only really a verse and a hook, so it's just me kind of almost borderline freestyling it out on paper.
Yeah.
Um, and that one's probably one of the quickest ones, where it's almost a weekend turnaround of, I write, record everything in one day, and then the next day I just kind of sit on it, um, get it to the point where it can sit until final mixes, kind of thing. Um, and then typically, like a song, most of the songs actually on the second half, I'd say, took a lot longer for whatever reason. Those songs took a little more crafting, a little more.
Yeah.
How's this beat gonna actually need to flow? So those are more of the examples of, I would struggle to write it one night while I'm pacing around, listening to the beat over and over again. Decide to can it for a little bit. Wake up the next day, either switch what the beat is, change the beat, rewrite the verse, kind of go back to square one on it.
Yeah.
Um, and that's more of like a week long process, I'd say. Of those songs usually take a couple days for me to really settle after I had early doubts, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are kind of, I think, the two main ways I fall into tracks. I don't think I do a great job of planning way out ahead for songs. I tend to follow my current emotions. I mean, there's one song on there I was thinking about today when I listened to it. Um, I think I said, like, I didn't think I'd be better today or something like that. Like, I was just having a crap day, and like, it was just one of the first examples where it just happened, and it happened really quickly. And
Mm.
I don't plan on, like, today I'm going to write a song about this. It's more of the current emotions.
Yeah.
This fits the album, so I'm going to put it in that folder, kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, so I think a lot of my stuff is more on a whim, um, which I guess is the beauty of having always recorded at home, um, because I'm fortunate to have enough equipment to where I kind of have my setup. I'm comfortable. I don't have to rush. I'm not paying anybody.
Yeah.
Um, so at least for now, that's my process, and that's been a lot of what I do. Now, when I've done stuff like features for other people, that's always a little longer process for me,
Mm.
uh, where I tend to feel like one, they're going to want something that's pretty fleshed out, and two, I don't want to turn in something that's not fleshed out. so,
Yeah, right. Both sides.
so those are typically the longest of the um, things that get done.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, what I'm hearing basically is you're a true artist at heart. I mean, you really sleep on things and let them sit for a while before you're just like churning, songs out. But also, I feel like you work at like a very fast rate as well, Like even though you're doing all this like sitting on projects, that doesn't mean that you're not also working on another beat or writing another verse or, like you're a very like multi-project person as to where you'll start writing something or start a beat and come back to it and then, sleep on it for a
Yeah,
while. And I feel like that's a really, really great way to be. I mean, obviously, it's all preference at the end of the day, but
yeah,
I feel like that's really solid. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
yeah. And rooted as a producer, I think I'm always making beats,
Yeah.
so that helps for songwriting because the more options I give myself, the less trapped I feel like
Mm. Mm-hmm.
with like I only have these beats, I have to write to these beats kind of thing. So I can
Right.
if I'm always making beats, it never really feels like I'm stuck in one sound or one plan right now. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. There's no like ceiling for you. It's all infinite. I like that.
I think yeah, I think once I realized like oh like there is infinite like beats to make. Like I'm not gonna run into that wall of
Mm.
oh no, I made the last beat kind of thing. Like you know,
Or I used my last beat kind of thing.
right?
Like
Yeah,
that's also a pretty common problem as well too. But
yeah,
very well said. Very well said. Um, So, quick kind of pit stop here. You had mentioned the studio and your equipment and that sort of home setup. So, tell us what your most essential piece of equipment is. If you had to pick one thing that like is like your number one go to, is your favorite piece of equipment, it helps you the most. What is it?
yeah. I have honestly I my first thought was Focusrite because it's the staple. You know,
Yeah, it
it
is.
keep it's been running for I don't want to jinx it, but it's been I've said this too many times that I don't want to jinx it.
Mm,
But
knock on wood.
it's been running, you know, I'm proud of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But aside from that, about I want to say 2 years ago finally invested in a mic that I'm really happy with.
Mm,
Uh and I think when it comes to vocals, that's my favorite piece of equipment. I have a Rode MT1A, I believe it is.
fantastic
That
piece.
I think it leveled up. The one I'm using right now for this is different, and it's I didn't think I would hear as much of a difference as I ended up hearing. And that was a really refreshing thing. Like, okay, now go learn mixing.
Yep.
So that's definitely the vocal piece. And if I could cheat and have a second answer, I'd say my Arturia keyboard um, is
Mm,
is the production piece that's changed the game.
yeah.
Because I do everything on that. So yeah,
I feel like those are a couple really good shouts there. I like that. I like that. Um,
absolutely.
home studios
Sponsor
are
me for
essential.
me.
Yeah, yeah, that too. That too. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Um, so heading back into present day, we spoke a little bit about what's coming post. Not now. I'm busy. Maybe a new single soon, and you're going to be diving into a little bit more production. But what else is on the plate? Are you looking to do any shows before the year ends? What are you kind of trying to,
Yeah.
top the
So
new year off with?
I think one of the things that's been holding me back, one is my current job. I work almost all weekends, so I've been even going to shows on the weekends for other people. Like I really love to support the Columbus artists, but uh, a lot of
Exhausting.
times it's at the risk of getting like 4 hours of sleep. Um, so that's just been the way my life's been set up for like 2 years, and
Yeah.
um, now of course getting a little ahead, thinking ahead, like with this job locked in just in the last 2 hours, um, I'll know now like I can take that show or I can commit to a Saturday. I can, stuff like that. So I think that's going to be just personal life wise huge. And then, yeah, I think when it comes to the music side, I finally want to get these songs on their feet. I want to feel that game day feeling more often, that butterflies kind of feeling a little more often, and push it a little bit more too. And I think that's one of the things when it comes to developing myself as an artist. I haven't pushed as hard as I want to, and that's I'm not mad at myself too much
Yeah,
about
no,
that,
of
but
course.
it's one of those things like you're like when the time comes, I want to do it, and that feels like the time now. So yeah, we'll
Mm.
hopefully we'll get to see a flyer or two with a my name on there, exclamation point on there.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, just stepping up and leveling up and making sure that 2026 and the end of 2025 goes solid. No, I agree. Fantastic. Very well said, my friend. Very well said.
Yeah.
Um, so one of my last questions for you is actually, outside of monetization and financial freedom, what's your ultimate goal with music and creating and being Jordan?
Yeah. I think one of the things I have learned is that I don't think I will be satisfied as a writer ever, but I love that so much that one of my goals is to just almost annually surprise myself. I think one of my old Instagram bios or whatever used to be my only goal is to impress myself, and
Mm.
now I have other goals now, but but that's definitely up there still. Is just kind of keep pushing that envelope to where I'm every time, not every time, but every now and then, doing that scoop back from the desk while it's playing, like, damn, I just made this, or I just wrote this, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Uh, so just continuing that leveling up in my head so that I know I'm still loving this. I know I still think there's a bar I haven't reached. Um, so yeah, I think that's what I'd say is and of course that comes with the things that come with it, right?
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah, that's not always the way to measure it, right? So
Right.
yeah,
Right. Very well said, my friend. Very well said. I like that. I like that. I'd have to heavy agree, and honestly, I feel like a lot of artists would agree too. So,
yeah,
very well said. Very well said. So, continuing on and kind of diving into a little bit more of a lighthearted topic here when it comes to music. Who are some artists that you like to work with that you haven't worked with yet, whether they be producers, artists, vocalists, mainstream, underground, independent, 500 followers, 5 million
yeah,
followers? Tell us a little bit
yeah.
of that list.
I'll start with a slate, just small list of just the people off the top of my head in Columbus that I'm just like, you know, I've always been a fan of, and that's like the Skelly. I was just at his show the other day. Dope performer. Zave Darko drops dope music all the time. Paulo Storm, Dala, a couple of these guys that are like out here doing cool things, and there's so many more. Those are just literally probably the last couple I saw on Instagram or something,
Yeah.
um, but there's so many artists in Columbus that, in general, like I know I want to be more a part of this scene. So in general, I would say Columbus, like
Yeah,
as
yeah,
a
just like
as a
Columbus
blank.
in general, yeah.
And those are
Yeah.
the first few names of guys I have a little familiarity with. Like, I got a buddy, obviously, Mac,
Shout out
Sticky,
Mac.
like those guys,
Yep. Shout out
like
Sticky.
obviously top tier TM guys that I want to continue to work with. 115J, absolutely killing it. Dropped like a tiny desk with type thing with a live orchestra the other
That
day.
was
Like,
crazy. I did see that. I did see that.
yeah.
Yes. Yes, that
So
was
so
nuts. That was very cool.
people are doing things in Columbus that make you like, man, I got to get in that room. So
Mm,
seeing these guys, obviously they're making it hard for me to continue to be this shut in guy. But
totally.
no, yeah. So those are the Columbus folks. But when it comes to my inspirations, I mean, I want to work with Kenny Mason like crazy. I want to work with
Legend.
um, you know artists like rappers like Grip that I see doing some rock stuff now. All these people, different people that I think are blending genres. Even if going to a super mega scale like a JID, like these
Yeah,
people that
wow, yeah.
are doing crazy hip hop stuff. But I see myself working with bands potentially in the future, whether that's just as a producer or
Totally.
um, just being in the room, however possible. Yeah, so the list goes on and on, but I think it's about people who are trying to push envelopes, push the bar even of their genre, of what their genre means or even looks like, is always
Yeah.
going to be what I'm chasing after. Because I think that's my favorite part of it, is being like, well, I guess this is rap, but is it what kind of rap?
Yeah. Yeah, no. And I feel like those are all great picks for you because you are that artist as well. Like I feel like you fit right in with those names of just genre blending, and that's why if you notice like I don't really harp too much on genres during the show because like I don't want to box people in because it's a blend of so much like other shit. You have like hip hop style drums and then the sample sounds fucking like cloud rap, ethereal, soft shit. And then there's like
Yeah,
some like plug sample in the back. You know what I mean? Like it's such a blend
yeah,
of everything. So yeah, no, I completely agree, and I feel like you fit right in. And when it comes down to the Columbus scene as well, I'm glad you spoke on that because that's a real hidden gem, and there's a lot of talented people in there, including yourself. So kind of wanting to dive into that more, I think is a really really great choice for sure.
yeah, yeah. And I'm even like racking my brain now, like with the album out, and I've been waiting on kind of like job stuff to change. I was like,
Hmm.
who needs beat packs from
Yeah.
me? Because
Right. Right.
I need to start extending that olive branch to some of these guys and girls. I mean, everybody that I
Everybody. Yeah. Of
see just
course.
um, you know, doing things in their own way, and I unapologetically and for Columbus. So
Yep.
I'd like to throw my hat in the ring of trying to be part of that. So yeah, that's the primary, is not in a way of conquering Columbus, but conquering the collaborating with Columbus um, mountain. That new thing for me.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I just feel like that's so beneficial, and you know, the thing is about it too is like being local to that scene, you'll be able to like link up and you can kind of go to the studio together, or it can be strictly online, and then maybe you could do a show together afterwards, or who knows how that kind of stuff works out. It depends, obviously, but diving in is always going to be the good play there. So I like that a lot. I like that.
Yep. Yeah. So that'll probably be my goal. Next year you'll see a lot more features and collabs out. Hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Well said, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Um, Stepping back from music for a second, what are some things that keep you sane when you aren't creating, right? Say you're not cooking beats, or say you're not, recording, or
Yeah.
say you're not planning promo, say you're not editing. What are you doing outside of music that kind of like winds you down and chills you out and kind of, keeps your mental stable?
Yeah. No, I'd say entertainment wise, comedy is my vice. Like I'm a kind of a, I mean, not the biggest extent, but like a comedy nerd. I like, the only podcast I really really lock into outside of the Music Mondays one is the Lonely Island guys talking about
Hmm.
old sketches.
Yeah.
It's and so it's stuff like that, like it kind of nerds me out, like, oh well, these writers are on this show and also a part of this sitcom. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just finished Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. um of course, I watch all kinds of, like, I'm watching 30 Rock right now.
Classics.
um just trying to get my comedy bible stuff in, the stuff that's Criterion show level
Yeah,
shows.
of course, of course.
um
Well said. Yeah.
so yeah, I'm going through that kind of realm right now of just like trying to find all of the comedy shows that I love. I mean, all the way from stuff like Zach Galifianakis has Baskets, like I love that show. All kinds of random little dark comedy shows. So yeah, that's my, outside of locking into my computer.
Hmm.
Usually that's what's on this TV over here,
Right.
um,
Right.
while I'm trying to do two things at once. But yeah, that's the main thing for sure.
Good, good. I feel like everybody needs that. Even if you're not a creative, I feel like you need something to just kind of, zone out on and, just stare at a
Yeah,
wall and just be like, so I like that. That's good. That's good. Um, so very last question.
yeah.
Who are your top five artists of all time in any order? Not like one to five, but just give me five
Mm.
straight that are your favorites right now.
Oof. Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. Thinking. I think the way I try to break this up is covering my genres,
Hmm.
but then it becomes really hard.
Yeah, because then you're
Uh,
debating and you're like, wait, who's
and then
better
I'm like,
here? Yeah, yeah.
so I'll just kind of attack it. Yeah. So I think one, two artists that I mentioned already that I feel like rap wise influenced me so much are Jid and Kenny Mason. Um, now the toughest part for me is being like greatest of all time, but I mean for me like
For
my
you,
greatest
yeah,
of all
yeah.
time,
Personal, yeah.
Um,
Personal, yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
Like I
Definitely.
listen to those guys and study their like unreleased and all that kind of thing,
Yeah, totally.
um, to see what they're experimenting with. So those are those artists for me, hip hop wise, that I think do the things that I'm like, God, I wish I could do that,
Mm, yeah.
uh, kind of thing. So then branching off of that, Jid is also a part of this, but Spillage Village, the group of him, Earth Gang, Jordan Bryant, Hollywood JB, Mariba,
Mm,
um, missing somebody, I think, but it's just their album Spillagin during COVID just like was like true gospel to me. Like it's like one of those albums that I constantly will go back to, and I'm just like, this is music. This is it.
mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
um, that's one I have to do. Gonna pull out one that I typically forget but always regret to forget. My dad raised me to always remember Sade in a top five. Um,
Damn. Wow, that's
but
a
I
rare
feel like
pick right there. Holy
but I have to
shit.
go with my R&B kind of side. I think that's like the peak of beautiful love and also just relaxing music.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that I make anything that's super similar usually, but I think I listen to it a lot of times when I'm maybe too energized and I want to kind of resettle before making stuff, or want to make stuff like that. So I think that's one I have to pull in only because everything else I would say in that lane would kind of come back to that style.
Mm.
Um, I said what, four so far?
Yep.
So the final slot, oof.
Great picks. Wow.
Oh, the final slot's tough. I don't even know where I want to go with that. But I think I'll take slight recency bias on this one.
Oh shit.
Slight recency bias only because Kendrick has been heavily in
Okay.
rotation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Okay.
I've always been just like a huge fan of the versatility, but also the pen. Like
Yep.
the pen, I mean, it's all, I'm obviously a big fan of writing, and I think at least the recency bias right now for me is like, who else has what he has right now in my head is hard to answer, right? So,
Right. Right. Well said.
um, but yeah, and then the battle right there was I've always been almost bigger J. Cole fan growing up, but lately it's tough with waiting for his last album. I'm sure that'll swing him back
For you, yeah,
um
totally.
into the punch
Mm.
the battle there. But I mean, um right now, I mean, I can't stop listening to GNX, but even going back to old stuff and um making conspiracies in my head about what he's about to do next.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that factor of the star power of like, why am I obsessed with every tweet that's like, well, he might drop again, like,
Yeah, yeah. You're like, oh
uh,
my god, like
I'm
real,
this
real
mode for
fan
it.
stuff. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So I think that's where I'd have to go with that list. That's a wild list, but
A great list. That might be one of our
yeah,
stacked lists of like 2025. Even of all the text interviews and the video interviews we've done, that list is fucking stacked. Like
that's
that is
why
a powerful list right there.
you always got to hit me with those questions when I'm not prepared. Because if I prepare, I'll spend like 2
Yeah,
hours
it
actually.
gets yeah, it gets too like picky choosy, but if you're just like off the top of your head and you're just like boom, 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 you're
Yeah.
just like it's natural that way, you know?
Yeah. No. So those are definitely some of the people when I think of what I'm gonna make.
Mm.
Those are the those are the drives I'm going on. Those are the people I'm throwing on an album and I'm sitting with. So
Yeah, no, totally. Totally. Well said, my friend. Well said.
yep.
Before we log off here, do you have any last words of motivation, shout outs, or anything like that you'd like to speak on? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah. No. I mean, I would of course first throw it to the music. I mean, Not Now I'm Busy is out there. I'm very excited about that album. Um,
Dream it.
of course, Deadlighter's on there.
Yep.
Mike helped with the art. We also have an album out with Sticky this summer. Nowhere Worthwhile, TM Files. I said that backwards, but TM Files, Nowhere
Nowhere
Worthwhile.
worthwhile.
Go check that out. um,
Great name.
That's some great just alt R&B just vibes, and he killed it on the production there. So that I would have to throw it to the music first, but I mean, words of wisdom or motivation. I mean, shoot, not now I'm busy is the manifestation of it has kind of come true in my life already.
Yep.
And I think one thing I would say is motivating you to go listen to it so you can feel the same way. So that's where we'll go with it.
Yep. For
No,
sure.
yeah,
For sure. Um
absolutely.
so one last thing, where can the people find you on social media? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok,
Yeah,
Twitch. Tell
yeah.
us a little
The
bit about that.
website has all the links, all of them. MakeMoreCreativeJunk.com/JRDN. That's how you'll find my page with every link. You'll find the album. All social medias should be JRDN1 Music. The one's just kind of going in there because you can't get an exclamation point in a username.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what you'll do. You replace the one there, and that's how you'll find it. Um, I'm everywhere. Reach out. Let me know how the album is.
Absolutely. Well said, my friend. Yeah, all that will be linked in the description. So make sure you go show Jordan some love, drop him a follow, listen to Not Now I'm Busy, and be on the lookout for a lot of good stuff to close out the year, my friends. This was Feature Friday. I'm your host, Sam Slays. This was Jordan. Be safe. We love you guys. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Peace.